What's going on, good people? Today, I want to talk about a new plugin from Jaycen Joshua and Cradle Audio called Orion. Now, if you're familiar with Cradle Audio, they make one of my favorite plugins called the Guard Particle. I call the Guard Particle like the glue that holds everything together. You simply just put it on the 2-track of your mix, and it takes it from here to here. But with Orion, you're able to really beef up your drums and give your drums weight, give it body, give it thump, and they have several different parameters that you can manipulate to really scope your sound. So today, I'm going to give you guys a quick walkthrough of how I've been using Orion with some of my drums, whether I'm mixing drums or creating drum textures to use with my MPC and my ASR. But I'm telling you, the Orion is simple and it's a game changer. So let's get started. So today I have 2 samples loaded up into Reason. That's the DAW I'm using. Basically, I have a kick drum and a snare. And I've loaded Orion onto both tracks. And I'm just going to show you, how I manipulated what the sound like without Orion, with Orion, and then once we start tweaking. First, let's deal with the kick. So I'm going to bypass Orion, and this is how the kick just naturally sounds. As you can hear, it's just a simple breakbeat kick. So we turn on Orion, and when you load up Orion, you see several different parameters. You have the first parameter, which is a color and a high pass. So you have A, B, and C, which are just different color options that you can pick to color your sound. And then it's a high pass filter. And then you have, harmonics, which you can add harmonics to your sound. And then you have another section, which is compression, where you can either add or subtract. Then you have a lift button. And then as you see, you transition over to the next section. You have an EQ area where you're able to, kind of EQ the sound. And then the last section is doing parallel compression, but you have 4 parameters, which is like my favorite area of the whole plugin. You can do a sub, you can do a low, you can do a loud, and one of my favorites in the parallel is the grit. So for all my people that's like MPC users or ASR users, that we love that gritty SP1200 kind of sound. That level right there is where you can kind of play and kind of get that feel. And for me, what I like to do is I like to turn everything off, because when you first turn it on, the first color, harmonics, compression, and lift is turned on. And me personally, I like to just take it section by section, because sometimes you don't need all of these parameters on. You don't want to do too much, but you want to add, And sometimes when you have everything going, you kind of like color and distort the sound a little too much. We want to make subtle but impactful changes to the audio. So as you see, I just have this on, and because it's a kick drum, of course I'm going to turn the high pass off, because these are low frequencies, because the kick drum is in the low area. So I'll just simply play it. So that's color A. This is color B. And this is color C. And I'll just keep flipping back between A, B, and C first to see which ones that I really like. And so far I like C, because C still keeps the integrity of the break beat, but it still has a little punch. The other two, they kind of make it like, how can I say it, like more like modern sound or what have you, but C, it still keeps the purity of the original sound that I had, but it gives it a little punch. So I'm going to deal with that. And for me, I'm not going to deal with the compression because I'm really not trying to compress that much. I'll turn the harmonics on, but I'll turn my harmonics down to maybe like 25%. And the cool thing about these plugins is, I tell people all the time, you don't have to have the best knowledge. You just need to have good ears. Because what you can do is, you can just do sweeps until you find the sound that's pleasing to your ear and what you want in your production. So that's always been my gem. Like, don't be afraid of knobs. Just turn stuff and do sweeps till you find sounds. I mean, till you find, tones and shit that's to your, to your liking. And so basically, I'll just do a sweep from 0 all the way over. So of course I don't want 100. So I kind of like the 35 area. You know, that's giving me a nice, punch. And next, I deal with the EQ settings. So I know this is a kick drum, and I know it's gonna be, in the low frequency, probably that throb that I'm looking for might be between 400 to 600. So you have a 100 hertz section, you have 40 hertz section, you have 1,000 hertz section, 10,000 hertz section, and 3K. So basically, because I know I'm like between the 4 to 600, I'm gonna start playing with around 100 hertz section to see what we can come up with. And as you increase, you actually start to see like a EQ graph being pushed up on the plugin, which is kind of cool. So it gives you that visual representation if you was looking at like a graphic EQ. So I'm kind of liking the 3.5. And a thing that you always have to do, just to know where you've come from with the plugin, always just don't be afraid to go turn it off and see what it sounds like with it off. You know, that's what we was at in the beginning. Now we turn it on, we get a much fuller sound. Much rounder, impactful, intentional sound. The last section that I'll deal with is the parallel section. This is my favorite section of the plugin. So basically, I'm just going to turn the power button on, and I'm going to try to get some of that grit that I like. And I'm just going to start to move it up a little bit. And you start to hit some of that grittiness. And then because it's a kick drum, I'll turn a little bit of the low on. I won't over exaggerate it, but I'll give it, some character. Yeah. Yeah, man. And a little tab of sub. Not a lot. And I won't deal with the loud knob just because this drum is the levels is beating pretty high already on it. So I don't really need to deal with the loudness of the kick drum, but so far so good. And what I'll do is I'll bypass it one more time so you can hear without and you can hear with it. So that was our original sound. Now with Orion. Kick has so much depth and it has so much body. The texture is fuller, it's thicker, and I'm telling you, this sample is gonna cut through once I start to build my music around it. Drums are gonna actually sit on top of the music. Very, very dope plugin. I'll do one more. I'll show you what it sounds like with the snare as well. So this is what the snare sounds like by itself. Now, off the bat, the snare is very fat on its own. It's been processed a little bit with some outboard gear as well. So I just want to do like some fine tuning with this particular sound just to give it a little more character. So basically, what I'll do is I'll, of course, add Orion. And just pull it up. And like I said, I'll turn all this stuff off. And I'll do a high pass on this because it's a snare and it's going to cut and it's going to be on the higher end of the spectrum. So. A little EQ. Turn me some grit on. And with this, I'll play with the loud just a little bit because I like for my snares to like really hit you right here in your face and like cut. Like, I'm a fan of music, and so like the way Dre just makes those snares like really cut your face, you know, and like just hitting you right here. So the louder and the crispier the snares, the better. And sometimes, you know, like with snares and certain instruments, it's okay for it to hit red. As long as it's hitting red with a purpose and it's not distorting, you know what I'm saying? You good. I always tell people, use your ears, not your eyes. And what I did was I actually used this button right here called lift. And I just dialed the lift down to like around, let's just say, 25%. Now let's listen to all of it together. And this is without. Cut, but not cut heavy. With Orion, you actually hear that weight and that ha, like you feel it. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm telling you, man, this Orion plugin is a game changer. If you're real big on wanting to beef up your drums and wanting to make, you know, your percussion, and you can even use this on other instruments. Like I would use it on basses and leads and, you know, just different textures to fatten up your sound. But like, if you really want to take like your sound and make it big and thicker and like just that texture, I'm telling you, man, check out Orion, Cradle Audio, and Jaycen Joshua really did his thing with this plugin, man. If you like the content that you've seen today, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend, and share with another friend. And also check out the website at www GeorgiaMuscleMusic.com. What's going on, everybody? Do you guys need music equipment? Well, guess what? In my description box, there's a link to my Z-Zounds account. And at Z-Zounds, you guys can get all the equipment in my studio and more. And guess what? You don't have to have all the money up front. They can spread the payments out over 12 months. And they're not doing no background or no credit check. All you need is your debit card and ID. And you good from there. Man, y'all check them out. Go get some new stuff so you can make some new sounds. They got you.